Well, you know, they say laughter is the best medicine, but does that even apply to battling addiction? Well, our next guests think that there may be some truth to it, or a lot of truth to it. Greg Hanley and Daniel Baldwin with Soba Recovery are here, along with Miss USA 2006 and recovery advocate, the beautiful Tara Connor, and comedian Craig Shoemaker is here this morning.
Yay. Thank you for getting my name right.
Do people not get it right?
Oh,
often?
they Shoemaker drives me nuts.
Okay, I did know it is Shoemaker.
You make shoes, you don't mock shoes.
That is, well, you better not mock a lady's shoes. That could be.
Ever.
Crocs you can mock.
Especially with socks.
You know what the holes are for? Is your self-esteem could slip out.
Is that what it is? That is great. That is true.
Pow, pow.
Every time I see them, I feel like I should look
start
away.
early with a laugh. Why not?
I love it. Now, the reason that Craig is here, this is so cool. I love what you're doing at Soba Malibu. So, Craig is a stand-up comic. Obviously, he was for many, many years. Sober, almost 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you now teach a comedy therapy laughter class. First time I've ever heard of anything like this,
Really?
but it's such a great concept. So how did y'all come up with this whole idea?
Shouldn't there be more of that in the morning?
Yes,
Instead of-
absolutely.
It was
Whose
your
idea
idea.
was it?
Yeah. That he put through my,
Yes.
I channeled through me.
Yes.
It was a mind meld thing. He says,
Which I, by the way, sent to him.
Of course you did. After
And we
Tara
just
tweeted
met.
about
We
it.
just met.
we
So.
met in a car.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's okay. I feel like y'all are fast friends.
We are.
We are. We instantly, because laughter is a wonderful thing that brings people together. Think
Yeah.
about it.
Oh, I
who
agree.
are your best friends? People that you laughed with growing up, right?
People I enjoy being around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those are. I still have laughs with my old friends.
Yeah.
My wife can't stand it. We get together and tell the same stories.
Oh, I'm sure she gets sick
It's
of
like,
hearing it.
there he goes again.
Show them what we do when we tell a story again.
No.
You don't
Depending
say,
on how many times you heard the story, you put how many fingers up.
What if you've heard it over 10?
You do your hand.
So obviously that's happened at some point.
so instead of saying I've heard this before, you just go like that. Then you end up
Got
arguing
it.
over the amount of fingers.
Of course, of course. So tell us how you think laughter really helps people in recovery. Obviously, laughter makes anyone feel better in the world, but how is it helping in this venue?
Well, I don't know if you knew this, but in the 12 steps, there's a whole thing about we're not a glum lot.
Right.
I mean, when I first came around, I thought I'd never laugh again, to tell you the truth. And I was doing stand-up. I didn't think I could ever get on stage without getting, drunk or high or whatever. And it turns out that I was able to clear the mechanism, and now the comedy's never been better because it's pure and it's unfiltered. I'll filter it for your show, don't worry.
Okay, yeah, PG, 13-ish.
But we should laugh more. In India, they have 5,000 laughter clubs. They start their day not with coffee, a false stimulant.
Right.
Not to say anything against coffee.
I do enjoy it, though.
It is. It's a false stimulant. It's very real to laugh, though, isn't it? Is it a genuine when you do laugh?
Oh yeah, I thought you were just saying coffee doesn't work. I was like,
Oh, yes, it does. I beg to differ, Craig Shoemaker.
Just gonna emphasize that maker.
Always the maker. So I love that you're doing this at Soba Malibu. And Greg, I mean, you try so many different things. You find what works, and that's why it does work when people go to Soba. But how do you feel about this class? I mean, obviously it was your idea, but how's it working out for everybody?
It wasn't my idea. We were doing a show together, and I didn't know that Craig was a doctor.
I
real
read that.
doctor.
That's right.
Wait, you're a doctor?
Yeah.
Are
he's
you
Dr.
single?
Craig.
I'm just kidding.
See, she's got jokes too.
She's got jokes.
And he does a therapy called Laughter Heals, and he wanted to test drive it over at my treatment center, and so we gave it a test drive, which he got a really quick.
Yeah.
I've
been doing it for years. I was inspired. My best friend, who I bonded with comedy, he's a Philly guy, and he wrote Cool Runnings and Little Giants. He directed a movie I was in. Yeah, he's a real comedy guy. And we only and then he got brain cancer, and they said, you have 3 months to live. And that's when I was inspired to start Laughter Heals. And he showed up we worked at a cancer facility. He showed up at every one of our programs. And he lived 15 years past that prognosis.
Wow.
And he's being very
Amazing.
modest about what he knows, because he's a super, super smart guy. And there is a biochemical component of this.
Right.
When you're somebody who does drugs that opens up your mirror receptors and emits certain chemicals on your brain, you take them away from them. You want to replace in that basket things that give you good, healthy food, fun, sex is a part of the component, sleep, laughing is a huge component of this. It releases freely and naturally chemicals in your brain that tell you that I'm having fun and my life is good, and and this is there's a physical component to what he teaches and gives these kids.
Laughing during sex is also very good. It's very good for you.
Depends on who's laughing.
We play back the video and laugh at it.
I'm not exaggerating when I tell you this. I perform around the country, and people would come up to me after shows and say, "Listen, thank you." I thought it was just a normal thank you, but they would thank me for the birth of their children that were conceived after my show. Someone actually sent me a photo of a kid that was conceived in the parking lot of the Bray Improv.
What?
Well, because
Congratulations.
I know I'm like a fertility
That's the
clinic.
fastest gestation period I've ever heard of in my life. That night, boom.
But what happens? I do this character, the Love Master. Every guy tries
You
to
got to
do it
do the
afterwards.
voice.
Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, I love you so good, your neighbor will have a smoke, baby.
So anyway,
That's really impressive.
it didn't work. It doesn't work with Tara. She's going, that's Uncle Creepy. When I first developed it, I was young, So
Yeah, no, it works.
now she's burping me like a baby.
It
The old
works.
bless your little heart.
Are you
Pat.
ready? She's going to go to the parking lot now. What-
Excuse me, I have to get pregnant.
when people try to get pregnant, though, you're trying so hard, and
hard,
you're stopping yourself from.
Yeah.
So, what laughter does is it frees you up, and you're not thinking so hard
Yeah.
about things. And many children have been born after comedy shows. They
I
were
love
conceived
it.
after comedy
They
shows.
say find someone you can laugh with. All right, we're going to laugh some more. We're also going to get serious. Maybe.
Maybe.
After the break. So you guys stick around. We'll be right back. Can't say that for certain. But serious.
People think courage is simply walking through fear. Courage is not running from yourself. I believed getting sober meant I would lose my edge. Turns out, I was wrong. I only surrendered the things that were holding me back. But all those fears I've faced over the years pale in comparison to the courage it took me to get sober. When you think your world is falling apart, it's actually coming together. I have found my freedom and will do anything to protect it. And so can you.
Welcome back, guys. And we are back with Greg Hanley and Daniel Baldwin with Sober Recovery and the lovely Tara Connor and comedian Craig Shoemaker.
How come I don't get the lovely, the lovely Craig
handsome
Shoemaker?
Craig Shoemaker.
The handsome
Hilarious.
love master, Craig Shoemaker.
Also known as the Love Master. Was that better?
Yeah, that's a little better.
Okay, good.
You know why I became the Love Master? Because of
that?
women like you.
What? Oh,
Because
is
they
that
would
right?
all, they
Is that
would
a
all
good
use
thing?
the F word with me, friend. I was always the friend.
Oh,
And they would, you know how you all go to the bathroom together? They would bring me with them. That's what a geek I was.
we want to get your opinion on this guy I like. Tell me
Yeah,
about
exactly. And I was like
What should I do?
5'1" in high school, little squeaky voice. I'll fix you up with Tommy. I'm thinking,
Give the geek a chance, baby.
it. They only knew.
Cover your ears.
So a lot of you are just joining us, and maybe you're thinking, well, who is this awesome guy, Craig Shoemaker? Well, he is a stand-up comic. He's been sober almost 30 years, and he teaches a comedy therapy laughter class at the Soba Malibu facility with Greg. So Greg was telling me, or asking me to ask you about some of your first classes and what the experience was like. I don't know what the answer is, but what happened?
See, this is what happens when
Tell
you.
us what happened.
This is what happens when you think you're sharing privately with a friend.
You're not.
I was like a confidant. I was like, Greg, this is a little rough. Because I work with wounded warriors and I work with cancer patients and, doing these laughter workshops. And I have to tell you, they all want to be there.
Yeah.
And they think to themselves, this is great for my medicine. When you're brand new in recovery, they're going, who are you? I
Right.
hate you.
What do you want?
You're
Go
on my resentment
away.
list. You now went to the top of my resentment
Right.
list.
So it didn't go
telling
well,
me,
you're
telling
saying.
me to laugh. I couldn't get people to literally. This one guy, he would not say the word ha. I said, it's very good for you to say ha. Just everybody do it right now. Ha. See how cleansing that is? You feel better. We go ha. It's a very spiritual word.
Oh, you double ha.
Yeah, you double ha.
Correct.
This guy would not double ha or single ha. He's there, you're not forcing me. He's from England. He's like, you're not forcing me to go ha. I feel like a phony. I go, well, how else do you feel? It's like, why don't you just try it? So anyway, I learned how to do it. And now the workshops are going so well. You know this part too. You don't share this part. You share the positive part. I was walking in the parking lot the last 2 weeks, going into the workshop, and there's the laughter guy's here,
You're
and now
that
they're
guy.
looking forward to it.
Right.
Yeah, the first 2 weeks, they walked out the door going, what happened to Stone Temple Pilots?
Gotta listen to him. But no, I mean, it's true. Laughter really is the best medicine.
Yeah, it is.
And what, obviously, you created this class and you're doing this for a reason. And what are your hopes? What do you hope that people get out of it?
Well, first of all, to let people know they can laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's when you're going into rehab, it's not very funny, and that the idea of what people have to go to treatment, it needs to be different. It's not just sitting around talking about how bad stuff was or what I did as a kid or these things. So we have comedy groups, we have art groups, we have yoga, meditation, things that are
Outlets.
going to also kind of balance what's going on. Because if you're just sitting and going through the mud all the time, it doesn't make it something that you want to engage in.
It's probably laughing for the first time that's the
For
hardest,
sure. I
right?
remember
like
the first
genuinely
time
laughing.
I laughed in rehab, and I found like what my real laugh sounded like, because I was such a phony my entire life until I got sober, and I have an obnoxious laugh, but it's fine.
good thing.
It's a
real.
good thing because it just did something for me, and I promise you, if you ever go to some type of a meeting, you'll hear people telling these awful stories where most people would be like, but we are just dying because we're laughing so hard because we relate, and it brings you together.
Yeah.
Well, when you're in it, and it's a very serious thing that we were in as addicts and alcoholics, but when you get to step on the outside of it, some of the stuff we did is really funny. I mean, but it takes you it takes you to be sober to see yourself watching monitors on a camera, freaking out, but you're like, yeah, you were doing that, and you look and you go, oh my God, and you laugh at some of the ironies and the stuff that you did, the levels you would go to try to still, the stories I would tell my own mother, and my mother would be on the phone going, honey, it's in the newspaper. They're lying, Mom. Of course they're lying. I was nowhere near that area.
I remember.
What?
I got a picture with you on videotape, and you're like, that's on me. That's on me. Look at how fat that guy is. That's on me. I don't look like that. I'm a crack addict, damn it. I'm not that heavy.
Yeah.
I love that y'all are bringing laughter in.
Not to give away the secret of comedy, but I will, all it is truth. It's just truth. You connect with a truth. And once you start to take away some of these things that we used to do to disguise ourselves, then you get to the authentic truth. And that's when people are sharing it, things like this darkness, there's a truth to the darkness, and you connect with it. So if you're at a comedy club, you're laughing at a joke, all you're laughing is some identification to some truth.
Yeah.
It's either, I went through that, I never want to go through that again. That's
Poor
a lot
guy.
of it. It's like, oh my God, I so relate that, and better them than me, going through whatever it is, and you just connect with it, and there's this release of laughter. And our hope is to shift people's consciousness.
Right.
Because we're already bombarded with the dark. Every day you watch something, we're bombarded. It's like these memes have happened to us where we're just bombarded with this negativity and darkness. It's like that's what we look for. And guess what else has also been bombarded with? Wipe that smile off your face. What are you laughing at? We're from
I don't
back
want
east.
to.
What are you laughing at? Right? They'll fight you on what you're laughing about.
They won't ask you here. They'll just smile back in Texas.
They'll be like, bless your heart.
That bless your heart.
Exactly.
God bless
I know what that
Right.
means now. Bless your heart.
Yeah.
You're a
Bless his
jackass.
No, of course not. All right, we'll be right back after
Philadelphia,
the
they go,
break.
bless.
We would never say that. To your face. Welcome back, everyone. We are here with Soba Recovery, Greg Hanley, Daniel Baldwin, Tara Connor, and the awesome Craig Shoemaker. He's a comedian. He's been making us laugh all morning. Thanks for being here.
Good.
You're awesome now.
He is awesome.
See, she's learning.
So cool.
He is. Thank you for being here. You teach a comedy therapy laughter class at Soba Malibu, so that's what we've been talking to you about. But you do a ton of other stuff, and we wanted to talk about one show you do in particular. It's an animated cartoon called Bad Zoo, and it's about a group of celebrity animals in rehab.
Well, they're not all celebrities.
I love this concept.
They're animals in rehab. And,
Okay, so first of all, how did this come about, and where can I watch it?
well, you can't watch it yet because I have an animation partner. He's done a number of things, and you know, I come from the writing world also. I just got off of Fuller House. You ever watch that show?
Yes, I do.
So anyway, so they approached us. They had Bad Zoo, and they approached me and my animation partner Dave Feiss, who did Cow and Chicken and a number of things. And they said, hey, what do you think of this? We love the concept. And I certainly, being in recovery.
I'm just laughing at Greg, who's giggling right here about Bad Zoo. You can't wait, right?
Well, listen, people are
I lived
animals.
at Bad Zoo.
They're animals when they get into rehab anyway.
Yeah,
So
the
why
mammals.
not just make them into real
Make
animals?
it about animals.
And I think you need to know that this amazing concept is from our own Alex Dragici, who is the creator of Bad Zoo.
Right.
Who is standing over there, who will join us in just a little bit.
Alex!
Sharply dressed, by the way.
Always
So-
sharply.
So Alex works with me and Dave,
Okay.
and we have a little collaboration going on, and we come up with these scripts of these. And by the way, here's the thing: is I'll just say, "Hey, Greg, just list me what goes on," and that goes into the script.
Perfect.
So these are actually real things that people are going to think are made up, but they're not made up.
actually have happened
Bad
to
Zoo
actual
is
people.
called Sopa.
Yeah, we call
SOPA?
saving our pets' asses.
SOPA.
That's what it stands. It's an acronym.
It's
Saving
across
our
street
pets'
from No Poo.
Give me some. No, boo, I like that. So give me an idea of
That
a
was his, by the way.
storyline.
He's a collaborator.
A storyline, something that happens in one of the stories? What's something that happens in Bad Zoo?
What happens? We can't
Okay, tell us anything.
I once played a therapist in Bad Zoo,
You did.
trying to hold all the crew together.
There's
I
a-
also
a
make my
character.
money by going out on the streets.
We initially had the concept that the elephant was Donald Trump. And so instead of doing an impression of Trump, we did my brother Alex's voice, and I played the character and spoke like this.
Of course you
as
did.
as a rebound back on him for doing Trump.
Right.
So
Okay.
it's
But now
it's
we
pretty
made it.
different.
Now it's two elephants, and one's from Africa and one's from India.
Yeah, and I'm
and they're
out.
really mad at each other because
Awesome steps in, and I'm out. Meanwhile, I've been here for 4 years trying to help them.
You
I got
know,
you, Daniel.
See how it
1
works.
year.
we don't want to get political. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, we don't.
That's
You're out.
true. That's true.
We're done.
Yeah, we're out.
just like
So-
chopped liver.
So when can people look forward to Bad Zoo?
Well, we hope soon. We hope to sell it soon, and it'll be out. And everybody will be able to enjoy it.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Me too.
By the way,
gonna be
this
great.
right here is a bad zoo.
Well,
Just make us
it's
into animals.
It's a fun zoo.
It's a fun
but it
zoo.
is a zoo nonetheless.
It can
Thank
definitely
goodness.
be fun.
I want to talk just quickly about recovery today, and we always talk about your latest issue. And there's a topic that you cover that talks about romance, and I think we've talked about this before, but I would assume that it would be a little difficult to date right after you've gotten sober. What are the rules? Like, are you supposed to wait a certain amount of time?
Teacher,
Are you laughing about it?
Teacher, I have a strong opinion
Tell
about it.
tell, please.
bet you
Because
do.
I jumped into a relationship with a woman when I was in rehab. Not joking. But I didn't drink over it. And I also have dated people who have been brand new. And the truth is that you're either going to it's going to push you closer to your recovery, or it's going to push you closer to a drink. And so it's up to the person to decide. And if they don't have the power to do that, then they have to access that power by going to meetings and taking care of themselves, doing that. People will discourage it in treatment. But if you're my sponsee, I'll be like, do whatever you want. We'll see what happens.
When Greg started Soba, he did something that they should all do, and they don't all do. And that is, he went to one of the most prestigious places, and he's looking at somebody who went to 9 of the supposed best, blah, blah.
Right.
And he wrote down a list. What works? What doesn't work? Math is a science. You cannot argue with that science. It is factual. So Is it possible to have a relationship and have a successful relationship when you're newly sober? Of course it's possible. Is it possible to stay sober if you do a 30-day stay? Yes, 2.5 out of 100 do it and stay sober for a year. But the mathematics supports that if you get involved in some type of relationship when you're newly sober, you're going to fail at the relationship and it could spin you into a relapse. So with that said, we would advise you, probably it's not a good idea right now, focus on yourself.
Usually ends bad.
It usually ends bad, and you'll relapse over it. So if your number one concern is your sobriety, then you put your sobriety first. And it doesn't mean you can't date, but don't get in some big relationship.
It'll still be there. It's not going anywhere.
Well, in long
But they
term,
have this rule that you can be grandfathered in. Like if you were like in a relationship before, then you can stay in it because you're grandfathered in.
in long-term treatment, there's a lot of young people.
Yeah.
And
Hormones.
they're going to be around each other. So you try to manage it. You try to help them manage it.
Okay.
I
That's
married the one who took me into the program. I
There
married
you go.
her. No,
There
but
you
I'm
go.
not married anymore.
All right, we'll
To her,
be right
because-
back after the break. To her.
I'm not married to her. I'm married to
Gotcha. Just to clarify.
Zoo.
And we're back with Soba Recovery. Greg Hanley's still here, Daniel Baldwin, Tara Connor, the awesome Craig Shoemaker, and Alex has finally joined us.
I made it.
He made it with his good hair.
Oh.
Alex with
And
the
his-
good
and his-
hair.
right.
and his new Zach Galifianakis
Yes,
beard over
you're
there.
looking good, looking
He
sharp.
looks like a true artist.
All right, Alex. So we always want to let people know that if they are going through something right now, if they have a loved one who they're worried about, what can they do today, right now?
Starts the phone
help
call,
them.
or you can call and text now. So the texting has been working, and you know, I was in the back watching the show, and there's just a lot of laughing having Craig on.
Just having him
and it's
here.
not just that he's here on the show. This is what happens actually at the treatment
Right.
center and at all the centers, and that's that's why Soba and Greg's place works. That's what
And Soba Texas is open.
it is open.
It is open. It's a
Yeah.
lovely place, a lovely retreat, and you can call, text if you're even unsure if maybe you have a problem or you're not really sure what to do, where to turn. You can call them. Someone will always answer, and someone will always text you back.
Yeah,
Right,
come on
guys?
out, do a tour.
All right.
It's a great
Treatment can be a
kickstart.
good experience.
Oh,
Sure
yeah.
it
It
can.
doesn't have to be
And you get
bad.
to kick it with us
At Soba.
at Soba.
We are a vision for
We
you.
are living the dream.
Thank you guys and beautiful ladies.
You want some of this?
for joining us.
No.
Do you want some of this?
You want some of this?
People think courage is simply walking through fear. Courage is not running from yourself. I believed getting sober meant I would lose my edge. Turns out, I was wrong. I only surrendered the things that were holding me back. But all those fears I've faced over the years pale in comparison to the courage it took me to get sober. When you think your world is falling apart, it's actually coming together. I have found my freedom and will do anything to protect it. And so can you.